I hear from various people all the time about how do I handle this situation or that situation, this one with my child, or this one with my spouse, or this one with my ex-spouse. And we talk a bit about making yourself a welcome mat and not a doormat. And that's kind of hard because it's theoretical. And I don't know if this video is going to be any more helpful because it does still remain kind of in the theoretical realm. But one of the things I've been saying a lot is just when you don't know what to do, when you don't know what to say, be love. Just be love and leave the consequences to God. So, for instance, you've got someone that's just smart mouthing you and they are just being nasty. Your responsibility is to say or do what you think God would say or do. And one of the things people get confused about is I think Jesus is just this nice pacifist. Well, honey, that's not nice to speak to me that way. You should speak differently. You can see people mock that in TV shows and things, but that wasn't Jesus. Sometimes you have to look this person in the face and say, are you trying to hurt me? And without sarcasm, of course, I will answer that as your spouse because I will be obedient as your wife. But if what you're trying to do is hurt me, you just need to be clear on that because that will hurt me. Or if they are doing something that you don't think is good and it's information you don't think they already have, just speaking the truth, say that's not going to be good for you, or that's going to hurt your soul, or I don't think that will, I can't even think of good examples, but we get frustrated at what to say, what to do. I can think of good examples of ex-spouses, so-called ex-spouses, though you and I know that they still are the spouse. They send you a nasty text, I don't give a garbage about you and you're such a lousy spouse. Just have those dang kids ready when I pick them up at 6 o'clock and you better not be late. So how do you respond to that? Our flesh wants to lash out and throat punch them or just give them back a dose of what they gave us. But that's where I say be love. What does love do? Love is patient with them while they're turning away from their nastiness. Love is kind. Whether or not they are unkind to you, you must be kind to them. So maybe a text would say, hey, I'll have the kids ready at 6 o'clock. And we did a great activity this week with the Play-Doh. I'm going to let the kids show you when they get here. So see, this way you're not asking any questions, because if you do, they can reject you or ignore you. You're not responding to any of the ugliness that they responded, but you're simply saying, hey, here's what we did. Because as a parent, you know that they'd like to know what their other child is doing when they're not with them, even though they hate that you're the one that's talking to them. You just be love. Love is kind. And then you give the consequences to God. Your kids run out of the house when mom gets there at 6 o'clock sharp and mommy, look, we made some Play-Doh people and we had a really good time and we did this and we had this great soup. Daddy says it's your favorite. So here's a bowl. We made some for you too. See, now this parent has a choice of, I don't want any of daddy's damn soup or be ugly, but then they're being ugly to their children, but you have no control over that. You simply be love. You made the soup because that's a loving thing to do. You pass them on to your spouse, even though they're going home to a mister or a mistress and a fair partner, but you still did what was good and right. I think once of a man I knew, and his wife left him. She had an affair with someone else, and she's like, I don't want to be with you. I hate you. Get out of my life. And he found out that she was sick at one point. And he drove over to her favorite store and he got her favorite soup and he dropped the soup off at her house. She didn't know it. She didn't ask for it. She was dumbfounded. She just kind of took the soup. I don't even know if she said thank you. but it didn't reconcile them. But he was love in that moment. God knows what you're doing. God sees your actions. God just tells us to love one another. He doesn't tell us that we're responsible for the outcome. I was loving him and I did this and I did that and I did that and I didn't see any change. Well, God didn't tell you that's your part. God just says, be love. Leave the consequences to me. You will see the fruit of your decision to love someone, especially the unlovable. You will see fruit of that when you die and go to heaven. You may see the fruit of it here, but God doesn't always explain to us here the fruit. And when we die, we see it all and go, ah, that's what it did. You be patient. After all, love is patient, right? If we love God, we're going to be patient with him as he does what he needs to do, even if he doesn't let us in on what he's doing. Don't keep a record of the things that your enemies do wrong, because remember, love does not keep record of wrongs. Don't be rude to people, even if they're rude to you, because love is not rude. Love is not jealous. Love bears all things. Love bears it when your spouse drives by your house with their affair partner in the car. Love bears that. Love bears when your child is addicted to cocaine and they just stole from you or from someone else again. Again, it doesn't mean you have to have them in the house and give them access to stealing. But what would love do? Speak truth? Speak it kindly? So there's too many situations for me to give you too many examples of here. But if you have questions, let me know and I can help you work through them. Just try to keep that at your tip of your tongue. What could I say that is loving, regardless of how they treat me? What can I do that is loving, regardless of how they treat me? And even if I do the right thing and the consequences are totally wrong, don't worry about them, because those aren't on you. Those are on God. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching another informational Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.